because several hours ago, that's where we were starting with this feature. When this link began at 2:30 this afternoon.
It's 9 o'clock already.
And thank you for listening. Right, let's do the first story on alternative news. Man realises he has a 7-centimetre knife lodged in his back 3 years after he was stabbed.
3 years.
3 years, gentlemen. Next time you have an unexplained itch on your back, check to see if there's a knife embedded there. We've all done that, haven't we? One Canadian man didn't notice that he had a sharp instrument lodged in him for more than 3 years. Billy McNeely suffered the injury following a fight at an arm wrestling match. What sort of bloke do you think went to that? A Canadian arm wrestling match where there was a fight involving knives.
Sounds like a fun night out.
It does, doesn't it? Take
Reminds me of Romford.
Bring the kids along. This is April 2010. He was stabbed 5 times with a 7.5 centimetre knife. He subsequently had the instrument removed, but when he initially went to the hospital 3 years ago, he was not given an X-ray. In the time since, he's been in constant discomfort, but was told he had nerve damage. It wasn't until recently when he got his nail caught in the top of the blade that his girlfriend noticed it. The girlfriend said, "I told Billy, there's a knife sticking out of your back." Well, I suppose you would, really.
As you do.
How else did you put it?
Well, she said, "I was scared. I was ready to pull it out with tweezers." God.
DIY surgery.
Mr. McNeely from the Northwest Territories added he used to set off metal detectors when in prison. "I've done some jail time in the past," he said. "The guards rub you with a metal wand detector, and every time they did my back, it went off."
And now he knows why.
And now we know why. Mr. McNeely is weighing up whether or not to sue his local health division.
Surely, though, if the blade was kind of the girlfriend, sorry, out his back, surely that used to rip his clothes.
I know, you'd have thought 3 years. They must have noticed it. I know you don't look at your own back, but someone would have said, "Mate, there's a knife sticking out your back in 3 and 7.5 centimetres. That's
a long.
That's quite long, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, there we are. I'm glad he's made a full recovery.
That's
anyway,
even more impressive than the screwdriver.
Oh yeah, you weren't here for that. That was a man who had a screwdriver in his head and didn't realise until he checked himself in the mirror. Genuine from Poland. Yeah. Mate, there's some tough people out there in the world. Believe me. Closer to home. A giant asbestos-infected tarantula is feared to be on the loose on the streets of Cardiff after a gruesome attic discovery. The alarm was raised after a team of asbestos removal experts found its recently shed skin in an abandoned 19th century house on Tuesday. Experts believe the creature could have doubled in size to 7 inches long.
Oh.
What's that? About 18 centimetres? That's long.
It's big enough.
With exposure to asbestos making it potentially even more dangerous to the public. The surveyor, Katie Parsons Young, received a shock after lifting up some floorboards in the property to find what she believed was a dead spider. And guess what?
It wasn't.
We had lighting in there. Sorry, she's Welsh. So we had lighting in there, so we moved the lighting to the other side of the attic where I was, and I could see there was something there. She said, "I was the first in. I sort of saw a leg, screamed, and went." Now, in fairness, you can't blame her.
This is one huge spider.
We don't know if the spiders have been living there by themselves or if it was a pet that's made its home there. The Cardiff Reptile Centre believe that the tarantula is still at large and are currently testing the tarantula's skin for traces of carcinogen. "I will certainly not be going back in there," she said. "I was absolutely petrified and couldn't stop shaking for 2 hours." That's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm
that is
saying
a big thing.
Cardiff's quite close, right?
So basically, if you're afraid,
too far.
I don't think it's going to hike over the Severn Bridge in the snow, but well, you never know.
Are you sure, James?
If it's asbestos infected, who knows?
They probably just jump over the.
Yeah, if you're afraid of spiders, then just don't go to Cardiff. I think that's the moral behind this.
Yeah. Or just don't go to Cardiff.
Watch us just ruin Cardiff now. It's like all their sales and everything plummets, tourism, everything.
If only we had that kind of reach and that kind of power.
Oh, we do, James.
We don't. Oh, sorry, we do. Yeah. An Irish couple have accepted substantial damages after they were accidentally boarded up inside their own home by bungling council officials. This is great, isn't it? The 46-year-old man and 25-year-old woman were awarded €76,000. £64,000, after workers began boarding up their home on Eugene Street in Dublin while they were still inside. Large corrugated iron sheets were attached to their front door and window by Dublin council officials as they relaxed at home with their 4-month-old baby daughter. The pair said they feared for their lives after hearing banging at the front door before calling police in December 2010. The reason it's in the news this week is because it's gone to court this week. They were asked by the workers if they were squatters, reported that it was a privately rented house. And after spotting a council van outside, the man opened the door to find the men had already begun putting the sheets up on the house next door. The Dublin City Council denied falsely imprisoning the couple. That's a hell of a denial.
I love being caught for that one.
Or defaming. Yeah, it would be like, no, you did. Yeah, all right, we did. Or defaming them by creating the impression they were squatters or being evicted, according to the Irish Times. The couple claimed they had to be treated for emotional distress and left the house shortly afterwards the incident before settling the damages claims. So there we are. Be careful when you're sitting in your own house.
In Dublin,
because you never know what could happen. And finally, we've been all over the world tonight. Now we're going to Brazil. A bored elephant seal stopped traffic in Brazil after deciding to take a stroll through the centre of a busy shopping district. Tired of the monotony of daily life in the Atlantic Ocean, the gigantic mammal decided on a leisurely walk, or a waddle, through the streets of the popular beach resort of, and you'll have to forgive me if you speak Portuguese, Balneário Camboriú.
I think your Welsh accent was better.
Thank you. Yeah. That was my Welsh accent. And anyway, he's walked through the middle of the city. It's the middle of literally a seaside town. So it would be like a whale coming out of the beach at Weston and just walking up the street. That's pretty much what's happened here.
Yeah, I'm with you.
The adventurous animal, believed to weigh over half a ton, stopped traffic for more than an hour as it slowly made its way across a busy road. Obeying the local highway code, the polite seal made its way across the road using the zebra crossing. Dozens of tourists and locals snapped and took videos of his impromptu exhibition inland as police and rescue crews splashed water on the animal. Despite his lethargic appearance, the daring seal enjoyed many hours out of sea in the southern Brazilian state before finally heading back to water, having successfully annoyed the local motorists. So well done.
So he made it back into the sea of his own accord.
He literally walked out of this, or waddled, or whatever they do, out of the sea, up the street, through the busy shopping district, turned around and went back to the sea. So, and if you see that in Western, I would be impressed.
That would be amazing.
But there we are. Yeah. So that's what's happening in the world. Now you're up to date. That was this week's Alternative News.